They came without warning one moment. The sky was clear. The stars blinked quietly above Mars, where human satellites floated like silent watchers. Then suddenly space cracked open. A ship dropped from the void, not one of Earth's sleek fighters or bulky cargo haulers. No, this thing was massive. Sleek, black, and shaped like a blade ready to cut through the stars themselves. It hovered near Mars, unmoving, silent, watching. Then the message come across every screen, every radio, every speaker on Earth. A voice, cold, deep, and not human, echoed through cities, villages, and military bases. Earth, you have been judged. Surrender all weapons, hand over all technology beyond level 4. Bow before the Empire, or be erased. No warning shots, no diplomacy. Just a demand, and then silence back on Earth. Chaos followed in the United Nations war room in Geneva. Leaders shouted over each other. "We can't fight them," said Ambassador Lin from China, her face pale. "We don't even know what they are." "They're not asking for peace," growled General Okafor from Nigeria, arms crossed. "They're asking for slavery." From across the table, Senator Cruz of the United States leaned forward. "This is our chance," he said. "We give them what they want. We survive." "No," said a calm voice from the corner. Everyone turned. Commander Elena Vega stood tall, her uniform crisp, her eyes sharp. She was head of the Deep Space Defense Initiative, a job most people thought didn't exist. She stepped forward and placed a file on the table. "Meet the Empire," she said. "They've done this before to 12 planets, 12 species, all surrendered. All were wiped out within 5 years. Gasps filled the room. "What?" asked Prime Minister Tanaka of Japan. "You knew about them?" Vega nodded. "We intercepted old data from a dead alien world. They call themselves the Varex Dominion. They don't conquer, they harvest." Lin frowned. "Harvest?" "They take everything," Vega said. "Tech, resources, people, and when there's nothing left, they burn the planet." Silence fell again. Senator Cruz looked shaken. "If we say no, they'll destroy us." Vega met his eyes. "If we say yes, they'll do it slower." More silence finally. General Okafor stood. "Then we say no." The secret fleet later that night. Vega sat alone in a hidden base under the Atlantic Ocean. On the screen in front of her, a map of space showed the alien ship still hanging near Mars. Her fingers tapped the desk as she stared at it. Then a soft knock came at the door. Captain Dax entered, a young officer with tired eyes and a scar across his cheek. "You called, Commander?" Vega nodded. "It's time." Dax blinked. "Now, but the Council hasn't approved." "They won't approve," she said. "Not yet, maybe never." He swallowed hard. "So, you're going rogue?" "I'm following orders," she said. "Orders signed by the last president. Orders sealed in case of alien contact." She pulled out a metal key and inserted it into the console. Lights flickered across the globe. Hidden docks opened. Underwater silos released long dormant ships in orbit. Cloaked vessels powered up. The Black Fleet had awakened. The signal. 3 days passed. The alien ship hadn't moved. World leaders argued. Protesters marched. Some begged for peace. Others screamed for war. But no one acted until the signal came. It was simple. One word: nitrogen monoxide, sent from an unknown source. Broadcast on every frequency. Repeated 10 times. Then silence. The Varex responded. Their ship moved. Engines flared. Weapons powered up. And then something else appeared from behind the Mona fleet of sleek, dark ships. No flags, no markings, just speed, power, and purpose. Surrounded the alien vessel and waited inside the command center. Vega watched the screen beside her. Captain Dax whispered, "They'll blow us out of the sky." She smiled. "Let them try." Unexpected move back on Earth. Panic spread. "Who fired that message?" demanded the UN Secretary General. "It wasn't us," said Lin. "Was it the Americans?" asked Tanaka. "No," said Cruz, stunned. "This isn't ours either." Okafor stood up slowly. "Then who the hell is out there?" Meanwhile, in space, the Varex made their move. They launched a drone. Fast, small, deadly, it flew toward the nearest human ship. Everyone braced for impact, but instead of hitting, it stopped, hovered, and sent a reply. "Identify yourself." The Black Fleet answered, "Humanity." There was a pause, then another message came. "You dare defy the Varex?" The reply was short, "Yes." Another pause, then the alien ship powered down its weapons. The drone returned, and the Varex sent one final message. "Interesting." Then just as suddenly as it came, the alien ship vanished, jumped Away gone. What comes next? Back in the command center, Vega and Dax stared at the empty screen. They left. Dax said, "Why?" Vega didn't answer right away. She looked at the footage again, watched the alien drone stop mid-attack. They weren't testing us, she said. Finally, Dax frowned. Then what were they doing? They were watching, she said. Waiting. For what? She turned to him. To see if we'd really say no. Dax shivered. So what now? Vega stood. Now, she said, we get ready. For what? She looked out the window toward the stars. For when they come back. With friends. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, far below, where sunlight could reach, something old began to wake. Up it had been silent for decades, hidden from satellite spies and even most of Earth's leaders, but now it was stirring. Lights flickered, metal. Grown systems booted up one by one inside the command center of this secret base. Two officers stood side by side, watching the screen. Captain Dax rubbed his eyes. Unbelievable, he whispered. They're all coming online. Beside him, Commander Elena. Vega didn't smile. She only nodded. It was always going to happen, she said. Just not like this. Dax looked at her. You knew they'd survive the test? She turned to him. I hoped. A secret written in steel back in Geneva. The world was still in shock. The alien ship had vanished. The message had been sent, and no one claimed responsibility except one man. Dr. Elias Monroe, former head of Project Black Fleet, sat alone in a small apartment in Berlin. He was old now, with white hair and tired eyes, but when he saw the news, he smiled. His phone rang. He answered. Monroe, came a voice on the other end. We need you back. Monroe sighed. I told them not to wait too long, he said. Looks like I was right. Flashback. The birth of the Black Fleet. The year was 2087. Earth had just discovered its first alien signal, not a greeting but a warning. Beware the Virex Dominion. They do not conquer, they erase. No one believed it at first, but a few did. One of them was Monroe. At a secret meeting in Antarctica, 5 nations agreed on a plan. Not peace, not surrender. War. A war that would never be announced. A fleet that would never be seen until it fired. Project Black Fleet was born. Over the next 30 years, ships were built in secret, some under oceans, others in orbit behind the moon. Each one was AI-controlled, fast and deadly, and each pilot was handpicked, trained not just to fight, but to survive in silence. They were called the Silent Guard. Only 3 people alive knew their full names: Vega, Monroe, and the president who died 6 months ago, waking the ghosts in the hidden base. Dax walked through rows of sleeping pilots. They weren't dead, just frozen cryopods lined the walls, glowing softly. These are the Silent Guard? He asked. Vega nodded. They've been asleep since the last war games, she said. We didn't think we'd need them so soon. Dax looked nervous. What if they don't wake up right? Vega gave him a look. They'll wake up. Ready. As if on cue, the first pod opened. Steam poured out. A tall woman stepped out, blinking in the light. Her uniform was crisp, her stance strong. She looked around, then met Vega's eyes. Commander, she said, what took you so long? Vega smiled. The Empire called, she said. We answered. The enemy is watching. Meanwhile, far beyond Mars, the alien ship had not gone away. It had jumped to a hidden point in deep space. From there it sent a message. Humanity has responded. They refuse submission. They possess unknown technology. Recommend further study before final action. The reply came quickly. Approved. Observed. Do not engage. The Empire wasn't done. It was only beginning. Final orders back on Earth. Monroe arrived at the hidden base. He looked around in awe. You kept it all running? He said to Vega. She nodded. We kept the lights on, she said. Now we have to make sure they shine bright enough to blind the Virex. Monroe looked at the screen showing the fleet forming up. In orbit. Do we tell the world? He asked. Vega shook her head. Not yet, she said. Let them wonder, let them hope. Monroe smiled. And when the time comes. Vega looked toward the stars. We show them what Earth can do. The Black Fleet moved like shadows through space. No flags, no signals, just silent, deadly ships gliding into position around the alien vessel near Mars. They had returned. This time they weren't watching. They were hunting inside the command center of the lead ship. Vanguard 1, Commander Elena. Vega stood tall. Her eyes never left the screen. Enemy contact confirmed, said Captain Dax beside her. The alien ship was massive, shaped like a blade, glowing with strange energy fields. It hovered silently, waiting, testing again. Vega tightened her grip on the console. They think we're afraid, she said. Let's show them what fear really means. Dax nodded. All ships hold position. Weapons hot, wait for my signal. Across the fleet, pilots sat ready in cryopods below. Dexmore waited to be called above them. All Earth watched and prayed. Final warning on the alien ship. Deep inside its dark halls, the Virex commander stared at the human fleet surrounding Ith. Was tall, thin, with skin like polished stone. His name was? Zarvane tapped a clawed hand against his chair. They dare surround us? He growled. The junior officer looked nervous. They sent no message, he said. They just appeared. Zarvan leaned forward. Send them one, he said. Final warning, back on Vanguard 1. The message came. Humanity, you are outmatched. Leave this space or face destruction. Dax read it aloud. What do we say? Vega didn't hesitate. Say nothing. She turned to the weapons officer. Lock targeting. Systems prepare. Full spread. Dax blinked. You can't be serious. Vega met his eyes. They've seen our power. They know what we can do, and still they threaten us. She stepped forward. It's time we remind them who they're dealing with. She raised her voice. All ships fire when ready. Fire in the void. The first shot came from Vanguard. 1A beam of white-hot energy tore through space. It hit the alien shield. The enemy ship rocket alarms blared. Then the rest of the Black Fleet opened. Fire lasers, missiles, EMP bursts. The alien vessel lit up like a star. Its shields flickered, then cracked one by one. Armor plates peeled off. The Virex scrambled. Return fire! Zarvan roared, but it was too late. The humans were faster, smarter. They're guided. Missiles found weak points in the alien hull. One struck the main engine. The ship's spun, lights went out, and then silence. The alien ship floated lifeless, drifting dead shockwaves across Earth. Back home, the world watched in stunned silence. News feeds exploded. Humans strike first. Alien ship destroyed in orbit of Mars. War has begun? In Geneva, leaders argued. They've started a war, shouted Ambassador Lin. No, said General Okafor. They finished one before it began. Senator Cruz looked pale. We have no idea how many of them are out there. From the corner, Dr. Monroe sipped his coffee. We'll find out soon enough. Battle not over in space. Vega stared at the wreckage. Report, she said. Enemy ship disabled, said Dax. No signs of life. Good, Vega said. Now get me the status of our fleet. Minimal damage, Dax replied. We got lucky. Vega shook her head. There's no such thing as luck in war, she turned to him. This was only the first fight. The Empire won't stop here. Dax frowned. What now? Vega looked toward the stars. We prepare. Just then an alarm blared. Sir, new contacts incoming. Everyone turned on the screen. More lights appeared. Far beyond Mars jump Signatrus multifloat moving. Vega's stomach dropped. Dax whispered, they brought friends. In the cold dark of space, the wreckage of the alien ship still floated near Marsa. Silent warning, but the Black Fleet had no time to celebrate. New enemy signatures were closing in fastback on Vanguard 1. Commander Elena Vega stared at the screen. Estimated time? She asked. Captain Dax checked his console. 5 minutes, maybe less. Vega nodded. All ships prepare for full engagement, she ordered. Launch drones, activate stealth mines, deploy AI swarms. Dax blinked. You're bringing out everything? She turned to him. If we don't win this fight, there won't be another chance. Unseen advantage. Deep inside the command center of the fleet base on Earth, Dr. Monroe stood beside a glowing holotable. Beside him, young Lieutenant Rena watched in. This is all new tech? She asked. Monroe smiled. Some of it's been waiting for this moment since before you were born. Rena frowned. But why hide it? Why not use it earlier? Monroe looked serious. We needed them to think we were weak. He pointed at the screen showing the incoming alien fleet. They see us as bugs, he said. Now we show them what happens when you step on a bug with teeth. First wave of Virex reinforcements arrived like a storm. Dozens of sleek black ships jumped into position, weapons already charging. They opened fire without warning. Lasers lashed across space shields, flared on the Black Fleet ships. Return fire, Vega shouted. The humans fired back, but the Empire was ready this time. Their shields held. Zorven's voice crackled over the comms from a new command ship. You struck first, now you will burn. Vega ignored him. Deploy drones, she ordered. From hidden bays beneath the hulls of human ships, small machines launched into space fast. Silent, deadly AI-controlled attack drones. They flew straight into the heart of the alien formation, and then Boom, one by one they detonated, not just as bombs but as EMP. Burst enemy targeting systems, scrambled ships, lost control, confusion spread. Did that just happen? Dax asked. Vega smiled. That was only the beginning. Silent minds on, the alien flagship alarms blared. Something's wrong, said a Varex officer. Our sensors are blind. Zarvan growled. Cut the interference. It's not interference, the officer said. It's sabotage. Outside, invisible mines drifted silently through space planted. During the last battle, now activated, one mine locked onto a heavy cruiser. It detonated with a flash of blue light. Then another and another. The aliens didn't even see them coming. Report. Zarvan roared. Their weapons aren't normal, came the reply. They're hiding things in space. Zarvan's eyes narrowed. These humans, he muttered, they planned. This, I swarm's attack back on Vanguard 1. Vega gave a final order, release the swarm. From the belly of the largest human warship, thousands of tiny machines poured into space like insects like ghosts. They moved with perfect coordination each. One guided by powerful AI, they dove into the alien fleet targeting engines, weapons, shields. One by one enemy ships began to fall. Sir, an alien officer shouted, they're inside our systems. Zarvan slammed his fist on the table. They're not just fighting us, he growled. They're rewriting the rules. Victory, but not peace. The battle ended faster than anyone expected. 2 alien ships fled. The rest destroyed, drifting pieces of metal. Human losses minimal. Back on Earth, celebrations began, but in Geneva the leaders weren't cheering. They won, said Ambassador Lin. But now the Empire knows we're dangerous. General Okafor nodded. They'll come back, he said. With more ships, more weapons, and more hate, Senator. Cruz looked shaken. What do we do now? Monroe answered from the corner. We get ready. End hook now, the Empire knows. Earth does not kneel in next time? We won't just fight, we'll finish it. Message sent now. It begins across Earth. The news spread like fire. Humans defeat alien fleet near Mars. Black fleet strikes back. War or peace? In every city, on every screen, people watched footage of the battle. Some cheered, some cried, others simply stared in shock. The aliens had come. With power and pride, and humanity had answered. With fire in New York City, crowds gathered in Times Square. People waved flags, shouted Dance Day. Young girl held a sign that read, Earth does not kneel. In Moscow, a man toasted with his friends in their face, he said, raising his glass. In Nairobi, a soldier stood tall outside a recruitment center. Sign me up, he told the officer. I want to fight for Earth. But not everyone was celebrating. In Geneva, the mood was more serious. Inside the United Nations War Room, Ambassador Lin sat quietly. General Okafor looked out the window. Senator Cruz paced. This changes everything. Cruz muttered. It changes nothing. General Okafor said, they'll be back. Lin nodded. They didn't just lose a few ships, she said. They lost face. That's worse. Cruz frowned. What do you mean? Lin met his eyes. The Varex Empire rules through fear, she said. And we just made them look weak. Okafor crossed his arms. So now they have to prove who's boss. Silence filled the room. Then the door opened. Commander Elena Vega walked in. She looked tired but proud. Everyone turned. You did it, Cruz said. You beat them. Vega didn't smile. We won one fight, she said. That's all. Okafor stood. How bad is it? Vega pulled up a hologram. This was only a scouting force, she said. Not their main fleet. Cruz paled. You're saying this wasn't the real army? Vega shook her head. This was the warning shot. She pointed at the map. They wanted to see what we could do. And now? Asked Lin. Vega looked at them. Now they know the message. That shook the stars back on Vanguard 1. Vega stood alone on the command deck. Behind her, Captain Dax entered. They're asking for a statement, he said. Earth wants to know what we say next. Vega looked at the comms panel. After a moment, she pressed the transmit button. Her voice echoed across every ship, every base, every home on Earth. To the people of Earth. We fought, we won, but this war is not over. To the Varex Empire. You came to take our world. You gave us an order. We have an answer. She paused, then spoke one word, nitrogen monoxide. The message was sent across the stars, straight to the heart of the alien empire. The empire reacts far away in a cold hall of black stone and shadow. Zarvan listened to the message again. His claws tightened around him. Other Varek's leader stood silent. One stepped forward. "This is an insult," he growled at Zarvan. Raised a hand. "No," he said. "It is a challenge." Another leader frowned. "They think they can win." Zarvan turned to face them. "They already have." He stepped forward. "They are not afraid. They do not beg. They do not run." He looked around the room. "They are dangerous." A long silence followed, then the high commander spoke. "So we destroy them." Zarvan smiled. "Yes," he said, "we destroy them." He turned to the view of space beyond the window, but not with ships. The others looked confused. "What do you mean?" Zarvan's eyes burned with cold fire. "We bring the storm to their world. And Hook, we won the first round. But the Empire doesn't lose twice, and now they're coming to Earth." The Empire strikes back. It started with silence. Then came the fire from deep space. The Vareks launched their response, not ships, not diplomats, but weapons, dozens of them. They fell from orbit like burning gods, meteor-sized warheads wrapped in stealth tech, undetectable. Until it was too late. Across Earth, cities watched as the sky lit up with streaks of flame. Then the explosions came, one in Moscow, one near Sydney, one over Nairobi, and one just outside Cape Town. Each impact sent shockwaves for miles. Buildings crumbled, skies turned red. People screamed. The Vareks had made their point. "You said not, now you burn, eh?" World on fire in Geneva. Alarms blared. Smoke rose in the distance inside the United Nations War Room. Ambassador Lin struggled to breathe through the dust. "Report," she shouted. Captain Dax's voice crackled through the coms. "We've lost contact with 3 defense centers," he said. "Moscow is down. Nairobi is offline. We don't know how many are dead." Senator Cruz looked pale. "This isn't war," he whispered. "It's punishment." General Okafor slammed his fist on the table. "They're not trying to win," he growled. "They're trying to scare us into surrender." Lynn shook her head. "It won't work." Okafor turned to her. "You sure about that?" She met his eyes. "No," she admitted, "but we can't show weakness now." Outside, another explosion rocked the city. Everyone ducked. Then the lights went out. Commander Vega responds back on Vanguard 1. Commander Elena. Vega stared at the screen. Earth burned her. People suffered, and she couldn't do anything but watch for. Now behind her, Captain Dax paced. "We have to do something," he said. "Anything?" Vega didn't move. "We wait," she said. Dax stopped. "What? Why?" She turned to him. "Because if we rush him blind, we lose more than cities," she said. "We lose everything." Dax clenched his foe. "What's the plan?" Vega pressed a button. "Dr. Monroe, are you reading this?" Monroe's voice came through. "I'm watching," he said, grim. "I've seen this before." Vega nodded. "Then tell me what they're planning." There was a pause. Then Monroe spoke. "They're testing our limits," he said. "They want to see how much pain we can take before we break." Vega's jaw tightened. "Well," she said, "let's surprise them again. The enemy is watching far beyond." Mars. Aboard the Varek's flagship, Zarvan watched Earth burn. His officers stood behind him. "The humans are silent," one said. "They are afraid." Zarvan didn't look away from the screen. "No," he said. "They are thinking." Another officer frowned. "You think they'll fight back?" Zarvan smiled coldly. "They already are." He pointed at a data feed. "Look, their fleet is moving." Indeed, the Black Fleet was repositioning, fast, not toward Earth but toward the moon. "What are they doing?" asked an officer. Zarvan narrowed his eyes. "They're preparing for war. Preparation begins back on Earth in a hidden base beneath the Himalayas." Dr. Monroe worked beside Lieutenant Reno on the screen in front of them. A map showed enemy drop zones. Monroe tapped the screen. "These weren't random," he muttered. "They hit major military centers." Rena frowned. "They knew where to strike." Monroe nodded. "They've been watching us longer than we thought." He turned to her. "Get me Commander Vega." Moments later, Vega's face appeared on the screen. "Talk to me," she said. Monroe took a breath. "They're not done," he said. "This was only the start." Vega didn't flinch. "Then we get ready." Monroe gave a tired smile. "That's why I called." Vega leaned forward. "We fight back," she said, "harder than ever." The sky was no longer safe from orbit. The Vareks launched their next wave. Not bombs this time, but machine stall. Strong, built for war, they dropped from the sky like nightmares made real. Each one landed near a major city, and then they began to march in. London. People ran as a metal giant tore through buildings like paper in Tokyo. Smoke filled the streets as another machine crushed rail lines and highways in New Delhi. Families fled underground shelters as explosions echoed above. Across Earth, the message was clear. You said no, now you fall. But humanity did not kneel, not yet. Earth fights back in Berlin, Captain. Dax stood beside Commander Elena Vega on the bridge of Vanguard 1. Below them, cities burned. Above them, enemy ships hovered like hawks waiting to strike. We can't just sit here, Dax said. Vega stared at the screen. I know, she said. We move. She turned to her crew. All ships break formation. Take out those machines before they reach the cities. Dax frowned. They're shielded, our weapons barely scratch them. Vega smiled slightly. Then we use something that doesn't need to scratch. She pressed a button. Dr. Monroe, are you ready? Monroe's voice came through. Let's see if these monsters can take a punch, the hidden weapon deep beneath the Himalayas. Dr. Monroe and Lieutenant Rena stood in a control room. On the screen, red dots blinked to life. Rena looked up. You're activating them now? Monroe nodded. They were built for this moment. He pressed a keyfar. Below the surface, across hidden bases all over the world, something old and powerful woke up. Massive machines, taller than buildings built by humans made to fight giants. They rose from the ground like titans. Their eyes glowed. Engines roared, and they marched. Monroe spoke into the comms. To every pilot listening, this is your day to shine. Battle in the streets in Seoul. The first human machine met the alien war beast head-on. Metal crashed against metal. Lasers fired. Explosions lit the sky. People watched in awe from rooftops and basements. One man whispered, they're fighting fire with fire in Rio de Janeiro. Another battle raged. Human pilots shouted orders. Flank left! Cover the civilians! Take it down! The alien machines were strong, but the humans had heart, and that made all the difference. Commander Vega takes charge. Back in orbit, Vega saw the tide turning. She turned to Dax. We're holding the line, she said. But we can't win like this. Dax frowned. What do you mean? Vega pointed at the largest alien ship still hovering above Earth. That's their command center. She said, if we take it out, the rest might fall apart. Dax looked nervous. It's heavily shielded. We'd need a direct hit. Vega didn't hesitate. Then we give them one. She opened a channel. All elite pilots, form up behind me. We're making a run. Dax blinked. You're going yourself? She gave him a small smile. If I don't, who will? Into the storm. The mission was suicide. Enemy fighters swarmed like bees. Lasers filled the sky. Ships exploded in bursts of fire, but Vega led the charge. Her fighter dove through the chaos behind her. A small group of elite pilots followed. They flew like ghosts through the storm, dodging death, fighting fear. Then they reached the command ship. Vega's voice came through the comms. This is for Earth. She pulled the trigger. Missiles fired one after another. They struck the enemy core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then boom, the entire ship lit up. Fire spread. It cracked in half and fell like a god cast from heaven. And Hook, we didn't just survive. We fought back. Now the Empire knows what Earth condoned. Next time, we won't wait for them to come to us. The Black Fleet vanished from Earth's orbit like it had never been. There, no signal, no warning, just gone. Inside Vanguard 1, Commander Elena Vega stood at the command deck behind her. Captain Dax watched the navigation readout. Jump point locked. He said, final coordinates confirmed. Vega nodded. No turning back now. Dax looked nervous. We're jumping into enemy space, he said. If they detect us, they won't. Vega cut in. Not yet. She turned to her crew. All ships, prepare for silent jump. No comms, no signals. We move like ghosts. Across the fleet, pilots double-checked their systems. Then the engines roared. With a flash of light, the entire fleet vanished and reappeared on the far side of the galaxy. Inside enemy territory, the enemy's backyard, far beyond human space, deep in the heart of the Varex Dominion, the alien capital world floated like a dark jewel among the stars' towering spires, endless cities, a sky filled with warships. It was the beating heart of the Empire, and now it had company from the void. The Black Fleet emerged, cloaked, silent, deadly, on the bridge of Vanguard 1. Vega stared at the view. Beautiful, she muttered in a terrifying way. Dax frowned. If we get caught here, we don't just die, he said. We erase history. Vega gave him a small smile. That's why we won't get caught. She opened a channel. All units hold position. Prepare for Phase 1. Dax looked confused. You mean Phase 1? She nodded. This isn't just a strike, she said. It's a message. He realized what she meant. You're not just attacking their ships. No, she said. We're showing them that no place is safe. Sabotage begins back on Earth. Dr. Monroe sat in the underground base. Beneath the Himalayas beside him, Lieutenant Rena watched a feed from deep space. Are you sure this will work? She asked. Monroe didn't look away from the screen. No, he said, but if it does, the Empire will never be the same. A hidden signal was sent across the galaxy. Sleeper agents activated. Some were humans who had vanished years ago, others were aliens who had secretly sided with Earth. They moved fast. One sabotaged a power core on a major warship, another shut down defense towers on a key planet. A third planted false data in the Empire's central database. Chaos began. Alarms blared, ships scrambled, and then a voice echoed across every Virex channel. Earth is watching. The shocking truth inside the Virex flagship. Zarvan slammed his fist on the table. What is happening? His officers looked terrified. Commander, our systems are under attack. One shouted, Who? Zarvan growled. The officer hesitated. It's impossible. Zarvan turned. Speak? The officer swallowed hard. Human spies inside our own ranks. Silence fell. Then another officer spoke up. There's more. Zarvan glared. What? The officer pointed at the screen. The Black Fleet. It's not just outside our space, he zoomed in. They're already here. The room went cold. Zarvan stood slowly. They jumped past our outer defenses, he said. No signal, no trace. He looked at the footage of the human fleet floating above their capital. His voice dropped to a whisper. They're ghosts? Gunny smiled. But even ghosts can bleed. Betrayal revealed back aboard Vanguard 1 Vega. Got a strange transmission. It wasn't from Earth or her fleet. It was from someone inside the Empire. Voice came through, soft, urgent. Commander Vega, I'm sending you coordinates. Meet me at Dock 17B. I have something you'll want to see. Vega looked at Dax. You think it's a trap? Dax shrugged. Probably. She smiled. Good. She turned to her pilot. Take us in. As the ship moved toward the hidden dock, Vega whispered, If this works, we might just win this war. Inside the dark belly of the Virex capital ship, Commander Elena Vega stepped off her shuttle and into enemy territory. Captain Dax followed close behind. Hand on his weapon, they were inside Dock 17B, a hidden maintenance bay far from the main command decks. The air was cold. Metal walls hummed with power, and somewhere in this place someone was waiting. A voice came through her earpiece. Turn left. No lights. Move fast. Vega obeyed. She and Dax moved silently through the halls, past sleeping guards, past security cameras that weren't watching. Someone had turned off the eyes of the Empire, and now they were walking straight into its heart, the rebel within. They reached a sealed door marked only by a red symbol. No words, no rank, just a warning. Vega tapped the panel. The door slid open. Inside, a figure waited, tall, thin, with glowing blue eyes. Not human, an alien, but not like the others. He stepped forward slowly. I'm glad you came, he said. Vega didn't lower her weapon. Who are you? The alien gave a small bow. My name is Tarek, he said. I am what remains of the Virex resistance. Dax blinked. There's a resistance? Tarek nodded. We have always been here, hidden, watching, waiting. Vega narrowed her eyes. And why help us now? Tarek looked at her. Because the Empire doesn't just destroy other worlds, he said. It destroys its own. He pulled up a hologram. Footage played of executions, of cities burned, of entire planets erased, all by the Virex. This is not strength, Tarek said. This is fear. Vega stared at the screen. Then she met his eyes. What do you want from us? Tarek smiled slightly. A way out. A new future. He took a breath. And a weapon to finish this war. The weapon that ends wars. Deep beneath the capital city, Tarek led them to a hidden lab, walls lined with data screens flashing ancient code. At the center, a single console glowed. This, Tarek said, is what you need. Vega frowned. What is it? Tarek stepped forward. It's the core of the Virex Dominion, he said. Their greatest secret. He pressed a button. A map appeared, showing every Virex ship, every base, every hidden colony, even their homeworld. Vega's breath caught. They're everywhere, she whispered. Tarek nodded. But there's more. He tapped again. A new image appeared. A massive structure in space, black, towering, dead silent. Vega looked closer. What is that? Tarek's face darkened. The Judicator, he said. The Empire's final weapon. Dax swallowed hard. What does it do? Tarek looked at him. It can erase entire star systems. Silence fell. Then Vega spoke. If we take this? Tarek nodded. You don't just win the war, he said. You end it forever. A choice that changes everything back Aboard Vanguard 1 Vega stood alone on the bridge outside. The Black Fleet hovered in silence. Dax entered. "You told Monroe?" he asked Vega. Nodded. "He's already working on a plan." Dax sat down. "So we hit the Judicator first?" Vega looked at the screen. "No," she said. "We show the galaxy what the Empire really is." She opened a channel. "To all ships, prepare for full transmission." Dax frowned. "You're going to leak this?" She met his eyes. "Yes," she said. "Let every world see the truth." Dax gave a slow smile. "That'll shake them." Vega nodded. "Good." She turned back to the stars. "Now, let's make sure they never forget. Our name, Endhook, one shot, one chance. If we fail, Earth dies and the Empire wins. But now we have a rebel weapon and the war to finish." The Black Fleet moved like shadows through deep space, silent, deadly behind them. Earth watched and waited in front of them. The Judicator, a massive alien station built to erase entire star systems. Now it was their target inside. Vanguard 1 Commander Elena. Vega stood tall on the command deck. Her eyes never left the screen beside her. Captain Dax checked the fleet status. "All ships report ready," he said. "We hit hard and fast." Vega nodded. "Good." She turned to the comms officer. "Send the message across every channel, across every world." The signal went out to the galaxy. "The Virex Dominion has ruled through fear. They have erased planets. They have burned civilizations. No more. Earth does not kneel. We do not beg. We fight. And today we finish this war. The last battle begins." The attack started with silence. Then came the roar of engines. Human ships dove into enemy lines like wolves into a storm. Lasers lit up the sky. Missiles screamed through space. Explosions echoed across the void. On the alien flagship, Zarvan slammed his fist on the table. "They're attacking the Judicator!" An officer shouted. Zarvan growled, "Destroy them!" But it was too late. Commander Vega led the charge. Her fighters sliced through enemy defenses behind her. Elite pilots fought like ghosts. One by one, the Judicator's shields fell. Then came the final blow. Dax. Vega called. "Time to end this." He answered from another ship. "Copy that. Firing now." 2 EMP drones launched. They struck the core of the Judicator. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the station flickered. Lights dimmed. Systems failed. And then boom! The explosion lit up half the galaxy. The Judicator shattered like glass. The shockwave sent ships flying, and with it, the heart of the Empire was gone. Victory at great cost. Back aboard Vanguard 1 Vega stared at the wreckage. "We did it." Dax whispered. "No," she said. "Not yet." Outside, the remaining Virex ships regrouped. Zarvan wasn't done. His ship fired a beam of death shot toward Vega's command deck. Dax shouted. "Evasive." Too late. The blast hit Vanguard 1, spun out of control. Smoke filled the bridge. Alarms blared. Vega struggled to stay conscious. Then a voice came through the comms. It wasn't Dax. It was Tarek, the rebel alien who had helped them. "Commander Vega, I'm reading your position. I'm coming in." She smiled faintly. "You don't have to." Tarek's voice was calm. "I want to." He dove in, took out 2 enemy fighters, and pulled her ship to safety. Vega opened her eyes. "Thank you." Tarek looked at her. "You saved my people too." Peace or ruin. Back on Earth, the world watched as the news spread. Humans defeat the Virex Dominion. Empire crumbles. War is over? In Geneva, Ambassador Lin sat quietly. General Okafor looked out the window. Senator Cruz said nothing. Dr. Monroe walked in. "The data we leaked," he said. "It changed everything." Lin looked up. "How?" Monroe smiled. "Other worlds are rising up," he said. "Rebelling, fighting back." Okafor grinned. "Good." Cruz finally spoke. "So what now?" Monroe looked at him. "Now we build a new dawn for humanity." Days later, peace talks began. Some Virex leaders surrendered. Others fled. The resistance, led by Tarek, offered a new path. In humanity stood tall. No longer prey, no longer ignored. Now they were seen, respected, feared. On a quiet hill outside Cape Town, Vega looked up at the stars beside her. Dax stood. "You think it's over?" he asked. She shook her head. "No war ever truly ends," she said. "But this one did." Dax smiled. "And we won." Vega nodded. "We didn't just win," she said. "We made them remember our name." She looked up. "Earth." Then she whispered, "We'll never fall." Endhook, this is not the end of humanity. It's the end of theirs, and somewhere far across the stars, new adventures are waiting.